Hussein with us to talk about the future of content marketing today. My name is Rahman. I'm from Simply Digital. We're a digital recruitment business that we launched last month. Finally. We're powered by Hussein Dajani, so we're a separate entity specialising in the digital space. Myself and Mohammed are here if anyone wants to speak to us afterwards. But obviously you guys are here to listen to this great man talk about the future of content marketing, so I'll leave it all to him and hopefully you all have a good night. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So great. Let me start with just introducing myself. I work as the Chief Operating Officer for an agency called Hub Digital. Agency which started in Dubai, now we're in Egypt, UAE, Saudi, Qatar, India. We're doing quite great. And we're in the digital space. Digital, social, apps, websites, mobile, everything that comes with it. I just want to start with understanding a little bit the backgrounds of the people here. Can I understand how many of you are marketeers? Just raise your hand. Awesome. And people from agencies? None. And the others? Okay. What are the others? I'm interested in knowing.
I'm information security.
Information security.
Yes.
Great. And anybody else?
Medicine. Doctor.
No way. Awesome. Okay. Interesting. So as you can see, a lot of people are coming from different backgrounds. But guess what? All of you guys came here tonight because you want to listen to the story. You're not coming here to listen to a presentation. You want to listen to the story. It's 7 p.m. It's been a very long day. You're tired. So you know what? You want to be entertained. What am I going to tell you about the content marketing? It can be just a simple presentation or it can be something which engages you. I really ask you to pay attention to what I'm going to say. I'm not a guru. I hate those words. But I'm passionate about what I do. And I'm trying to bring out this passion to you guys because it's going to help you with everything you do. Be it a conversation that you two are having together, be it a conversation you're having with your boss, or even a conversation you're having with your kid. As simple as that. So let's start with, how many of you are watching that series called, what is it, about the American presidency? What's it called again? House of Cards. Exactly. How many of you are watching it? What better story than that series? So let's start with the man himself.
I know what you're all thinking. What the hell am I doing here? What exactly am I doing at a Content Marketing Institute annual event? There is no way to say no when the founder of the Content Marketing Institute, the master marketeer himself, Joe Itsy Bitsy Litzy, calls you. Now, Joe can sell you on just about anything. Joe, he called me. He said, hey, Kevin, I got this opportunity you won't want to miss. There's this nice little event I throw every year. You got to be there. Can you do that for me, Spaceman? It's a real classy affair, orange candy, orange soda, and it's in Cleveland. I think I'll talk about something that's really important to me, and I hope to you. The story is everything, which means that it's our jobs to tell better stories. The first important element of good storytelling is conflict. Conflict creates tension, and tension keeps people engaged with your story. This kind of conflict between who we are and what we want to be and what others may expect of us is the central thread of the human experience. Look into your own life, and you'll see that kind of tension everywhere. Our stories become richer and become far more interesting when they go against the settled order of things to really achieve something different and unexpected. Now, the second important element in storytelling is authenticity. And I think a lot of content marketers need to be mindful of falling into the trap of looking for keywords or quick hits to boost their ranking on Google. Stay true to your brand and true to your voice, and audiences will respond to that authenticity with enthusiasm and passion. Which brings us to the third and possibly most important element of any story, the audience. The device and the length are irrelevant to the story, which is essential concept that content marketing has learned and embraced better than anyone. It's no longer about who you know or how much you can afford, but what you can do. And audiences have spoken. They want stories. They're dying for them. They're rooting for us to give them the right thing. And they will talk about it, binge on it, carry it with them to the bus and to the hairdresser, force it on their friends, tweet, blog, Facebook, make fan pages, silly GIFs, and God knows what else about it, engage in it with a passion and an intimacy that a blockbuster movie could only dream of. And all we have to do is give it to them. And if I may quote...
Do you agree with what he said? Seriously, think about it. You can watch that video over and over again, and he makes perfect sense. We're being bombarded with ads right, left, and center. Those ads are not relevant to us. I could be reading a blog about an automotive brand, and what I'm seeing is an ad about babies. What does that have to do with that? So just think, authenticity plays a very big important role. How true are you to the story that you're saying? To who are you saying it? When are you saying it? And why are you saying it? The world has changed a lot, okay? Many things have changed. And marketing is becoming more and more dirty. And marketing is becoming more and more really boring. I work in advertising. I've been working in it for the past 16 years. And I'm craving for a good campaign. Every day I'm driving to work, and I'm craving to see a campaign which makes me remember it. I'm craving for an ad that makes me stop and say, wow, I love this. And I think many of you are facing the same thing. Especially living in a city where we're talking to so many different nationalities. So who exactly are we talking to? So things have changed a lot, and at the same time, what's happening is marketers want to sell. They don't care whether you like my brand or not. What I want, what I care about is you buying my product. I need to sell at the end of the day. I need to tell my boss I met the, my KPIs. But at the same time, how do you break through? There's a lot of clutter happening out there. So how do you break through to connect with your consumers and really end up connecting and bridging things together? There's a content and media surplus happening out there. So many TV stations, Netflix. I come back home, I turn on the TV, I don't even look at it, I just put it as background music. I'm sitting on my iPad, I'm sitting on my iPhone, and I'm sitting on my Mac. I'm talking to my friend, I'm playing with my cat. It's insane. And there's a lot of attention deficit happening there. And I'm waiting to see how many of you are going to actually stay with me till the end of this presentation without looking at their mobile phone. And I'm going to be looking at you guys. The consumer journey is becoming unpredictable. You could be saying to yourself, I'm going to be coming to Astro Labs to watch this presentation. And while you're driving here, somebody calls you and tells you, hey, come on, let's meet up, forget this. Or you could be driving here and then you remember you need to do something else. So it's no longer planned and organized. Things keep changing. And even worse, and believe this, more data is created in 2 days than from the beginning of mankind to 2015. There is a huge amount of data out there. Scary amount of data. So how do you do with that? I've got clients that come and tell me, so what are people talking about me? Great. What are they talking about you? Where? About what? When? This is how it's gone. So there's a paradigm shift happening there. When brands used to control what consumers want, and this is the pre-digital era, to what consumers now are demanding from brands, and the way consumers now are driving brands the way they want. The power is very much in the hands of consumers. We've all seen the Time magazine in the year 2006 when they put "You're the Man of the Year," and they put on the cover of it, just aluminium where you can see yourself. Because the power is in your hands. You're not holding one mobile phone, you're holding 2 or 3. And that's the way it's going. With a click of a button, you can change mindsets. You want to use content based on your terms. Nobody's going to dictate when you're going to consume that content. Integration is on your terms. So Internet of Things is happening, your fridge can order for you now your groceries, but you decide when you want to use it. Media is delivered based on your terms. You decide if you want to watch BuzzFeed, or if you want to watch AJ+, or so on and so forth. Information is based on your terms. There's a surplus of information out there, so you decide what you want to consume, and you decide what you want to neglect. And finally, shopping is on your terms. sitting at home and I get a message from, and it's our client, Marks and Spencer. So I get a message from them. And great, we're doing a discount of 20%. Awesome. Visit our stores. I'm sitting on my couch. I'm so comfortable. You want me to get up, get in the car, go to the mall, search for half an hour for a parking spot, and then while I'm walking to Marks and Spencer, meet a competitor of Marks and Spencer who's doing 40% discount. You lost me. So it doesn't work that way. You want me to buy? Send me a link to buy online. You see what I'm getting at? So today's always-on connected world is presenting a lot of challenges for consumers and for brands. And the only way for brands to actually overcome that challenge is through content. And what I mean by content is by giving a story to consumers. But not just any story. It has to be a really true one, and it's got to be said in a very great way. Otherwise, nobody's going to use it. And that's the real challenge. People are hungry for stories. You heard it from Kevin Spacey himself. People are really hungry for stories. So you want to attract your audience, give them stories that they're going to fall in love with. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Let's see how many brands tomorrow are going to actually put interesting stories for people to actually spend time with them. Yeah? Good question. It's supposed to play. Marriott, a hotel, a global chain. How easy is that to do it? They're suddenly giving you a reason for you to travel. Suddenly giving you a reason to experience the whole world, even if you're in one location. Just think about it. How many times you went to a hotel? You went in, you turned on the TV, yeah, welcome Hussein, blah, 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 and they keep putting that video that keeps going on and on and on and on. The most boring thing ever. I traveled to India about 2 months ago, and it just happened, the hotel I was sitting in, it was my first time traveling there, and not a single channel in English. Spent the whole evening trying to figure out what's going in Indian on the TV. Imagine that. And it was a global chain. It's not acceptable. Technology is playing a great role. The clever brands are the ones who are jumping on that technology to make advantage of it. So putting that VR, sitting in the bed, and just watching what's happening out there in the world, how amazing is that? Simple. Craig Davis, used to be the chief creative officer of JWT Worldwide. And in 2005, he came up with this line, which is still being used right now in most of the agencies and marketing companies. We need to stop interrupting what people are interested in and become part of what they're interested in. Think about it. Stop interrupting me from what I'm doing and become part of what I'm doing. That's super important. That applies to brands, applies to people. It's common sense at the end of the day. Where's the content?
America runs on Bulliver time.
Anybody knows what's that? Any hints? Yeah, but anybody knows this ad? When did it appear? 1941. It was the first TV commercial that appeared. The first ad that ever appeared worldwide. What is it talking? It doesn't care about you as consumers. It's talking about itself. I'm bragging, Bulliver, everywhere. Great. And then what happened is we got connected more and more. CDs, Walkmans, so on and so forth. And then the internet, the browser came out in 1993. And then Google gave us the search ability. And then the first online banner ad, which appeared there. Why is it not playing? Sorry about that.
Listen, we need to have a talk about Van Gogh. The fact is, he's the sponsor. And you signed a contract guaranteeing him certain concessions, one of them being a spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
Sorry to feel that way, but basically it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Garth, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache.
Here, take two of these.
Ah, new print. Little. Yellow. Different.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes. And it's the choice of a new generation.
Native ads. This is what native is all about. When you're talking about something that's actually quite relevant to what you're doing. So it picked up and started from then. And then the internet came. Great, having access to information anytime we want, whenever we want, whatever we want, about anything we want. Apple made us smart, and it's making us smarter by the day. And then social came to connect all of us together, to give us access to anything we want at any point in time, to share information, get information. But marketing still had a marketing problem. You see, people don't buy in because of the product. People buy in because of what you're doing. So the famous line from Simon is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's all about the purpose of the brand. It's all about the purpose of the product. Okay? You gotta understand why and what is this product doing that you actually buy into it. So why do you buy Apple? Because it's a beautiful phone? Not really. You bought into what they're doing. The ad which came out about the crazy ones, the ad which came out in 1984, that's why 1984 is never going to be like 1984. This is why you bought into what they do. 60 to 70% of the marketing content goes really completely unused. There are so many brands doing so many amount of content out there, and nobody's using them. Actually, nobody's seeing them, to be more precise. And 73%, it's a global organization which they did about what matters for brands. They did this research, and 73% of the people said they really don't care if the brands that they're using disappear or not. So no affinity, no love, no connection, nothing at all. It's just a product that I'm using it, and I don't care if it stays or it goes. I can easily replace it with any other product. I don't know if the picture is not appearing, but there used to be a book called Marketeers Are Liars. And because marketing is all about lying. And a couple of years after I started working in advertising, I said to myself, I'm working in the bullshit industry. Buy this product, it's awesome. And it is. And this is where the responsibility came into changing what really marketing is all about in marketeers, into becoming storytellers. And the next step in marketeers is becoming story doers. I'm not only going to tell you a story, I'm going to actually execute that story, and I'm going to do it for you. So content marketing is really what marketing has still got to do with that. It's about that vehicle, which is the content, that's going to drive across all channels, that's going to drive across any country, that's going to drive across any nationality. See, because content marketing, at the end of the day, is the melting pot between what brands are publishing and between what consumers want. And this is where the love resides then there. Nokia is no longer there, correct or not? But don't tell me none of you love Nokia. I miss it like hell, and I still use Nokia. Why? Because Nokia's purpose was to be the most loved and admired brand in the world. It connected people, and it did for many years. Nobody will forget it. Then,
you could have protected me. You could have taken every hit. You could have turned the world upside down so that I would never feel pain. But you didn't. You gave me my freedom because you were strong. And now, so am I.
P&G, proud sponsor of moms.
to all you moms out there, thank you. A beautiful ad. It's a TV commercial. But go and see the amount of content that this ad generated. Insane amount of communication that went out there. Generated about 72 million conversations on Twitter in a period of 1.5 months. From Instagram to Facebook to Twitter to all of that. Whether you relate to the product or not, you will never forget it. You're going to know that P&G was behind that, because they rolled it out across so many different channels. And this is where they connected. They didn't come to you until you used Tide. They gave you a story. And guess what? It boils down to the insight, the human insight. Every person wants to thank their mom at the end of the day. Because every single person, each and every one of us, including myself, has been through a challenge in his or her life, and they thank their mom for it. See, this is what I'm talking about. The storytelling aspect of any brand. And that's the content that I'm talking about. Give people something to talk about. Give something to people so that they are happy spending time with them. So what needs to change? Yeah, we're seeing, a lot of evolution when it comes to social. Every single day there's live streaming on Facebook, live streaming on Instagram, this and that, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, so on and so forth. But those realities stay true to any, be it digital, be it social, be it traditional, anything of that. The content moving from the brands talking about themselves and bragging about themselves to becoming very much consumer-centric storytelling. Focus on the consumer. Focus on us. Focus on others rather than focus on yourself. Content for social versus content at the core of everything. That piece of content that you're doing, the P&G ad I showed you, this appeared on TV, it didn't go social. But people loved it so much to an extent that they took it from TV and they put it on social. So again, it's all about the content that you're developing, then people, it's in their hands to actually take it and put it wherever they want. We all remember, any Arabic speakers in the house? Great. There was an ad during Ramadan for an Egyptian brand, I think a dairy product. It's called, I don't remember the name of it, but the whole ad was about dundu. Anybody remember it? Yeah. So that TV ad appeared on TV and it was very controversial, stuff like that. And it went like wildfire on social. Wildfire. Why? Because it entertained people. There was a story behind it. Memes that came out, the topics, the stories, the blogs, everybody started talking about it. Disconnected digital channels. You've got the website on one side, you've got social on another side, you've got the app on the third side, versus brand content hubs. Brands moving to becoming publishers. The perfect example, Red Bull. Red Bull is an energy drink, correct or not? Well, Red Bull, nobody remembers it as an energy drink. Red Bull, people remember it because of the videos that they do, because of the, shooting off the limit stuff that they do. For God's sake, they threw somebody from the edge of space. Campaign-driven content versus continuous culture of content. So it's not about just doing that piece of content and putting it out there and then you disappear. Content has got to be part of everything that you do. You can have the most amazing product out there. If you don't communicate that product or that service or that company in the right way, it will never live. Trust me about that. Take a look, and I hate doing that comparison, but take a look between Uber and between Kareem. I gotta give a very big respect to the team behind Kareem. What they're doing is absolutely awesome. Every single day I'm seeing a piece of content from them that's so relevant to our region. Why? Because the purpose of the brand is they want to do good for the Arab world. Versus Uber, who's just relying on the fact that I'm a service that you order a cab. That's where the difference is. Technology is one thing, but then again, what the brand stands for and how they communicate about what they do makes the perfect difference. Anybody knows Jiskip Bank in Europe? It's, I think, a bank in Holland, if I'm not mistaken. So banks, how boring can that be? How boring. Come and get my credit card, come and get car loans. I got bombarded with SMSs every single day and emails. And look what this bank did.
Thinking differently and unpretentiously. Communicating openly and honestly. At Jyske Bank in Denmark, these aren't just mantras. They're written into this little guy, and they lie at the core of everything we do. We call it the foundation, and it's a basis for our actions and how we communicate with the world around us. And it helps explain why we do what we do online. I'll bet this doesn't look like your bank, but the truth is, it probably doesn't look like your TV station either. That's because it's one of the most high-tech of its kind in Denmark, and probably the only TV station in the world with its very own bank. This is Jyske Bank TV, where we produce web TV every day with the world's leading business thinkers like author Joe Pine, with philosophers, with football players, and yeah, even with finance experts. And this is our communications department. It's 100% digital, and it's all right here, in-house.
I'm not going to take you through the whole video, it's quite long. The interesting thing about it, the bank, the opened a content hub, opened a TV station, online TV station. Would you believe that bank or not? I would honestly 100% believe such a bank, because it's showing me everything that's happening in full transparency. It's digital. You can talk to them, and everything you're talking to them, or when you're typing it, is actually appearing on the screen. How amazing is that? You can't hide anything anymore. Going transparent pays off. And this is where I'm talking about content living at the core of what you do as a business. They changed a banking concept, which is completely boring, to something completely interesting. Banks in this part of the region are starting to pick up. I noticed the other day, CBD now is going, so Commercial Bank of Dubai is moving to becoming a digital bank. Emirates MBD is doing live or live, and they're moving to becoming digital. So that's a great way moving forward. So it all depends on the content that they're going to do, is whether it works with them or not. The most successful brands out there are the ones that are becoming truly user-centric and designing products and services that are making people's lives better and enjoyable. Look, we're living in uncertain times. There are a lot of uncertainties out there, okay? Economical, financial, so on and so forth. So people are looking for good. And people are looking at how you can benefit me now and today. And those are the most important things. The brands which understand that are the brands that are going to be able to create that strong affinity and go beyond what love is. You're going to become brand ambassadors for those brands. I worked in Red Bull, but I still can't pronounce his name. He's the owner of Red Bull. I tripped in the letter S, so excuse me about that. So the founder of Red Bull and the CEO of it said, brands need to take the phrase acting like a publisher literally. Look at Red Bull, a canned business that has Formula One team, that has the Red Bull TV, that has apps, that has gaming, that has mobile. Those guys are huge and big. So take a look at what they did even more. Sorry about this, guys.
Three, four times, remember exactly where you were from the time, and it never goes away.
Austrian skydiver Felix Baumgartner jumped from a balloon 128,000 feet. It was incredible. Everyone's talking about it.
I've seen this video, I think, almost 100 times, and I still get goosebumps from it.
What is it?
It's an awesome story. Red Bull gives you wings. They literally took the gives you wings to the next level. And that's the beauty about it. What did we do at Red Bull when I was working there? So we had a challenge. Everything was in English, and we wanted to connect with the Arabic consumers. How do we do that? We tied up with NBC Action, and we wanted to make sure that all the content is delivered in Arabic to reach a wider audience immediately as it was happening. Imagine the challenge with that, and imagine if, God forbid, something happened to Felix. We were doing all of this. But this is when a brand decides to, I'm going to take the full risk, and I'm going to be totally responsible for what I'm going to do, and I'm going to deliver on it. Take a risk. Don't be scared. You will never learn, you will never see the potential of your brand unless you take it to the next level. Brands that are daring are the brands that make it out there. Don't be scared to do something and make a mistake about it and apologize about it, or make something and make it good and capitalize on it. And that's the beauty. So what's the future of content marketing? We've been talking a lot about what's happening out there, about social, about content, storytelling, and all of that. What's the takeout? It has a proven ROI. We've seen how brands capitalized on it. So it is working. You can't say anymore it's not, because you can't measure it, because everything in digital is measurable. Versus putting an ad on TV and trying to speculate how many people actually watched that ad on TV or talked about it. Or seeing an outdoor ad or a movie. I love it when I see those movies or anything and like us on Facebook and they put for you the logo. Great, can I click on, is it going to respond to it and make me become a fan of it? This is what I'm talking about. It's a completely different thing. Craft CMO, content marketing ROI is 4 times our traditional marketing spend. It's delivering. Brands globally are talking about how much they got out of it. It's visual. You remember that picture? Do you know which brand was behind it? Sorry? Sorry? Samsung. Samsung was behind this. So the brand did not come and shout out that Samsung is behind the selfie and all of this and all of that. No. They made Ellen become the brand guardian of this and push it out, and then she revealed the story that it was for Samsung. and it was through Samsung. And that's the beauty. The brand didn't care to talk about itself. Entertainment. Brands used to be obsessed with getting high number of followers and fans on their Facebook and Twitter and all of this and all of that. What's happening is after 3-4 years of spending so much money on getting fans, after they got the millions of fans, they're like, shit, why am I not getting engagement? Well, because most of the people that are on your page are either from India or from Egypt and not relevant to your brand because you bought them. Shit, okay, you know, I'm spending money, delete for me all those fake fans. So again, we're going back. Now they want engagement. And I remember a time when all the brands, I want you to do for me a big, you know, big layout. Put for me that I got 1 million fans on Facebook. I'm like, okay. But look at what this brand did. It's in Arabic, so I'm going to try to help you with translating it. Vodafone Egypt, they got 2 million fans on Facebook. Instead of just putting that image out there and saying, you know, they went into the data of their Facebook page and they looked for how many of their fans are actually loyal and, you know, connecting with them and talking with them, engaging with them on a continuous basis. So they chose about 52 people. And they went to the band of Bassem Youssef. Bassem Youssef is a very, you know, is a celebrity in the Arab world, and they told them, make for us a song. And it's all about, you know, how people use Facebook and how they connect with us and this and that. And they sent out batches of the stories to all those, you know, 52 people, and they told them, we want you to record this part of the, so they told them what they're doing, and they told them, we want you to record that with your mobile phone, with whatever, and send it back to us, and we're going to edit it. And this is how we're going to celebrate the fact that we got 2 million fans on Facebook. So take a look at that. It's one of my favorites.
Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. Facebook. بوك فيسبوك فيسبوك وفايلي هو عمايلي بيحكي مخابراتي سكايتي شعري وفكيري وجوه موبايلي وبدا لسه بدأني النور عالويب بتاعي بعمل سايتين للفيسبوك كل دقيقة بحب أكاونتي جوه دماغي بيزن بيقول لي ادخل عالبيت على طول تلاقيني ابتدي منهم وانشر عليها حاجات منهم ألوان غسيل أفكار بينهم أبيض أسود أو بيج أو أسمر عليه أجمل أغنية أغنية حبة كلام في الميزانية.
So I'm not going to bore all the non-Arabic speakers here, but it's an amazing thing. The Arabic speakers, if you look at them, they're smiling because they relate to it. So the words that were chosen are very humorous. Organically, they got 26 million views on it in a period of 3 weeks and a half. And that tells you, 26 million views. This is insane, which means it connected. And people still remember it. And I've got so many clients who tell me, I want to do like Vodafone Egypt, what they did, hey, do for me the same thing. This is content. So all great content starts with your audience, guys. Really, understand who you're talking to. And for marketeers in the UAE, please understand who you're talking to. You can't reach everybody. You need to decide, am I reaching Emiratis, am I reaching Arab expats, am I reaching non-Arab expats? You gotta decide. And when you talk non-Arabic Arab expats, who are you talking to? The Lebanese, the Jordanian, the Syrian, the Egyptian. When you're talking non-Arab expats, are you talking Europe or are you talking Asia? Each one of those is on different platforms. Each one of those consumes information in a different way. The people who are on Facebook consume the content on Facebook differently than the people who are on Instagram and consume the content on Instagram. You gotta think of all of that before you do anything. And all great content starts with the right context. Why are you doing this? I saw the other day, have you guys seen the Turkish guy with the salt? Yeah? Awesome. So he did this and it went viral and everybody loved it. And then suddenly, so that was about 2 weeks ago. And then 2 days ago, I find McDonald's putting, you know, on Instagram the salt. 2 weeks later, seriously? Yeah, you know, every single brand jumped on it. So why are you coming to me so late? I don't care anymore what you're doing. I'm not going to even laugh at it. So time is of essence. By context, I mean the right time, to the right audience, at the right place, on the right medium. I'm just going to end it with, your audience wants stories. It's up to you as marketeers, whether you give it to them or whether you keep looking at yourself and bragging about yourself. It's your choice if you want to give it to them or not. Thanks very much, guys.
We have around 5 or 10 minutes so for some questions, so feel free to raise your hand. Anyone who gets selected, just stand up and say who you are and where you're from.